Welcome back to From the Shed End. I hope you're all doing well on this Monday morning. What can I say? What can I say? Wow, what a performance that was yesterday. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. Before we get into the video, please make sure you go and subscribe to this video and to the channel and let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. And last but not least, make sure you hit that Linktree link in the description. That will take you to all our podcast episodes and all our social accounts as well. Now, as you can hear in the voice, my tone is very deflated, very annoyed. Yeah, I'm not happy. And I'm not happy with our performances, but more so the fans. The fans. And that's where we're going to start this video, with the fans, because I'm seeing a lot and I keep saying it and I'm going to keep saying it. And I'm going to keep annoying people. And I'm going to keep saying it until I don't need to say it anymore. Until my point has obviously resonated with certain people and certain selections of the fan base. But we have to understand, we are not Man City. We're not Liverpool. We're not Brighton. Let's be real. We're not Barcelona. We're not Real Madrid. We're not Bayern Munich. We're not Borussia Dortmund. We're not AC Milan. And we're not Napoli. Not right now. Not right now. We're none of those teams. We are a team that is mid-table at best. We should not be even talking about winning Premier Leagues, winning the Champions League, competing for the Champions League, getting top four. We're not there. We're so far away from those conversations. It's worrying as a fan base that every weekend I'm seeing the same, and it's always the same selection of fans, the same people with these big accounts, big channels, big views, talking so much nonsense every single weekend. Like, wake up, smell the coffee. We're not a top performing team. When you go 1-0 down, you see City, they pull it back. We got to see that against Aston Villa, I think, a couple of weeks ago. When Liverpool do it, they pull it back, they bring the game back, they win the game. We are not that team. We're not the team. We're not the team that people think we are, where we can go on and when was the last time we dominated a season, back-to-back games where we dominated a team? The fan base is up here. The team is down here, below. This is where we are. And this is the problem with the fans. The fans don't get it. The fans, match day going fans online, fans from other parts of the world, they don't get it. They just see the millions being spent, the billions being spent, and that they think it's all going to click together and we're going to be winning leagues, trophies, left, right, centre. It doesn't work like that. After the game, I'm seeing Poch out, Bowley out. We used to mock AFTV, Arsenal fans, for doing exactly what we are doing week in, week out. We look like the clowns of the Premier League right now. On and off the field. We're the clowns of the Premier League, because we talk like Arsenal fans now. We should be getting top four. We should just be making top four. That's what they used to talk about every season. Just making top four. We're not even there. Let's have that right. We're not even at that point where we're talking about top four. We are not near top four conversation at the moment. Should we be there? 1,000,000% we should be there. 1,000,000%. And that's without the injuries or with the injuries. It doesn't matter. We're going to get onto the injuries in a minute because there's a massive conversation to have there as well. But the fans, it's a toxic place to be as a Chelsea fan right now. I'm seeing videos online, misconstrued, fake narratives, blame game. It's just all for clicks and views. And if that's what the fan base has become, I look at some of the fans and I think, you weren't there when we were shit. You can tell. You weren't there when we didn't have the success under Roman. Some of us have lived through this before, which is why it's not a shock for me. Every football team will have a good run. Every football team. Liverpool had their run, early 90s. United had their run. Arsenal had a small run. You think back to the Invincibles, they had a small run. City are having their run right now. Every football club is going to go through this cycle. You can't stay at the top forever. You just can't. It doesn't work like that. So when I'm seeing all these things happening online and everyone's talking about we should be winning this, we are far away. Remove that part of winning the Premier League, Champions League, Europa League out of your brain. Get it out your brain. Flush it out of the system. We're not there. We're not winning it. Come back to reality. Everyone spends too much time in their bedrooms talking every night about Chelsea and they don't get out and get some fresh air. Go and get some fresh air. We are not in the conversation to win the Premier League, or we should not even be talking about it. We're not there. I'll tell you where we are. We're in a state of transition, massive transition. Now, has the club messed up? Has the owners messed up? I addressed a lot of that last season in terms of that transitional period that we should have had with the old regime and the new regime coming in. That transition should have been seamless. It seems like it was done as a scattergun approach. Just let's get rid of people. Let's fire the groundsman. Let's fire the person in the canteen. Let's fire this person. Let's get rid of that person. That's what we've done. We've done the scattergun approach and got rid of everyone all in one go. Big bang. No consequences thought about. But it's too late to dwell on that. It's too late to talk about ifs and buts because we've done it. Even the approach to the transfers before last season, Correa coming in, didn't make sense. Koulibaly coming in, didn't make sense. We didn't replace a striker. We didn't get a striker in. We stuck with Kai Havertz all season last season. Didn't make any sense. Lukaku situation. Not getting the right, not even signing Christensen, more so Rudiger, down to a deal last season. Crucial things, ifs and buts. We've got to move on from that now. We have to. We can't keep talking about the ifs and the buts and we should have done, we would have done, we could have done. We are where we are. Those are the facts. They're the facts of the matter. We're 14th in the league. 5 games, 5 goals. 5 goals conceded, 5 points. 5 alive. We are the laughingstock of the Premier League. On and off the field because of the fans and because of the players who are playing on the pitch and not performing as they should be performing. 2 different things. Let's talk about the game yesterday, because the game yesterday, I mean, look, I said in the preview we should be beating Bournemouth. 2-0 is what I predicted. I thought we would see a bit more from Nicholas Jackson. I thought Madueke would start. I thought Caicedo was going to be fit enough to play the game. Clearly not. I thought we might see Ben Chilwell in his natural position as a left back, or Ian Maatsen as that person to replace this crazy hybrid system that we've been playing. And Pochettino, whether he watches YouTube videos or just something clicked in his head, he actually changed it. A flat back 4. The problem being he put Levi Colwill as the left back. Now, the problem by doing that, and we're going to talk about the lineup. Let's go through it first before we talk about the issues we put in a centre-back who's naturally a centre-back as a left-back with Mudryk in front of him. But we're going to talk about that. Let's talk about the team. So Robert Sanchez started in goal. Malo Gusto, right back. Axel De Zerzi, Thiago Silva as the centre-backs. Levi Colwill as our left-back. Leslie Ogunchukwu as the midfield 2 with Conor Gallagher, who also captained the team. We need to talk about that as well. We need to talk about Conor Gallagher. Yeah, let's talk about Conor Gallagher in a minute. Mykhailo Mudryk, Enzo Fernandez, Raheem Sterling made up the 3 attackers, feeding into Nicholas Jackson as our number 9. Now, there are so many things wrong. And Pochettino has to take some of the blame for this. I'm not Pochettino out, but he has to take some of the blame for this. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, the substitution bench was very young, very inexperienced, as a lineup on the bench that you didn't really see many options coming from. But we have to address the elephant in the room, because you've got Levi Colwill, who's not naturally fast, who doesn't know when to overlap, who doesn't know when to track back, who doesn't know that position as a left back. Now, some will say, yes, he can play left back, but when you've got Ian Maatsen, traditional left back, Ben Chilwell, captain, vice captain of the team, on the bench. Now, I know about internationals, I get it. I get it. I understand. But we're playing 1 game a week. Let's not forget that. We're playing 1 game a week. Our next game is now the weekend. When you're playing someone who doesn't understand when to overlap with Mykhailo Mudryk, who, let's credit him, had a half-decent game. He fed some really good chances into the box. The key one being that Conor Gallagher, who potentially should have scored that goal. But when you've got Colwell, who I think is a really good defender, and we're still keeping Thiago Silva in the team, whatever people want to say, whether he's he's one of the best centre-backs that I've ever watched as well, but his time is over. He looks tired. You could see throughout the game the fatigue was kicking in. He should not be playing week in, week out. Even with one game a week, we should not be relying on someone who's close to 40 in our defence. We really shouldn't. We really should not be. We should not be in a position where we're talking about Thiago Silva as our main central defender who we can't take out the team because we're scared to, because we don't. We've got players there. Trevor Chalobah could have played. He could have played. He's experienced enough. He could play against Bournemouth. Doesn't make any sense to me. Now, Conor Gallagher, I thought had a really good game. Now, my only issue with Conor Gallagher, and it's not with Conor Gallagher, but it's decision-making in terms of why make someone captain? Why make Conor Gallagher captain when he's the player that we wanted out the club? And say we, the board, were forced into Everton, were forced into Tottenham. Get out the club, is what they've said to him. The past 2 seasons, they've told him to leave the club, and now we're making him captain. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. There was nothing from this team yesterday that made me think we're going to get 3 points here. Even the small chances we got, that Raheem Sterling free kick that bounced off the goal line, Colwell taps it in but is offside. Even that moment before and after the game, after that moment, that game was going to be a 0-0 or a 1-0 to Bournemouth. There's nothing going forward. And I've praised Nicholas Jackson, but time is ticking for Nicholas Jackson because he doesn't look like the person that's going to put the ball in the back of the net for us. He really doesn't. And I know a lot of Chelsea fans have criticised him. A lot of Chelsea fans have said he's not a striker. He should be a winger. I hear all of that. But let's trial him out. And we're trialing him out and he's failing. So let's do that. Let's see what he can do as a striker. We definitely need Armando Broja back. And we still need another striker. And this is when everyone was all excited about Lavia, Caicedo, and all these other players that we've brought in. And the one thing I kept saying was we haven't addressed the 2 key areas of the team. Goalkeeper, striker. Now, credit to Robert Sanchez because he actually kept us in the game yesterday. Played a brilliant game. Very good saves. Distribution was brilliant. You know, he's been heavily criticised at times while he's been at Chelsea so far. I thought he put in a man of the match performance in goal yesterday. Man of the match performance yesterday because if he's not in goal, if that's Kepa or maybe another goalkeeper, we would have lost that game. We would have lost that game, hands down, easily. We would have lost the game. So when I see certain things, you've got to praise it. When you've got to criticise things like Nicholas Jackson, who has to score, he has a shot and it's so wide. The ball was just travelling into the crowd. I don't understand. He's on borrowed time. He is. He's very young. He's very raw. I think it's very difficult to assess him because he's coming into a new league. Obviously, the opportunities for him have been there, so he should be taking some of them. But I think for pre-season, we got to see what he is about because Nkunku was there, because he was getting the service, because it was obviously pre-season, there's obviously a lot less pressure on you. But when you're in a Premier League game, playing at Chelsea, you have to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter where you've come from. If you're signing for a club like Chelsea, you have to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's your job. That's your job. Nothing else. Holding the ball, brilliant. Running with the ball, brilliant. Putting the ball in the box, brilliant. But we haven't signed you for that. We've signed you to put the ball in the back of the net. That's your job. That's it. There's no ifs or buts about that one. Put the ball in the back of the net. He's on borrowed time, Nicholas Jackson. He really is, because hopefully Armando Broja comes back very soon. You know, we're hoping to see him in the next couple of months. But by then, we could be talking about, 16th, 17th place in the Premier League. We can't afford to wait for maybe signing Ivan Toney in January or Armando Broja coming back in November or December. We have to be picked. This is our period of games where we have to get results. I'm going to say it again. I said it on the last 2 videos. The 21st of October up until, I think, the 6th of December, maybe even further into December, we have not got a weekend off where we're not playing a team that will tear us apart. Don't believe me? Go and check the fixtures. This is our moment where Pochettino should be collecting 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Nottingham Forest, we should have collected 3 points. Yesterday, we should have collected 3 points. These are winnable games. They're winnable games. We should not be talking about Champions League, Premier League. But should we be beating Bournemouth? 1,000%. 1,000% we should be beating Bournemouth. Regardless of the record at the ground. Regardless, even with our injuries, and we're going to talk about injuries in a minute, but even with the injuries, the injured players that are out, we should still be beating Bournemouth. This is why I say we have to remove this whole, we are a top 4, top 5, top 6, whatever. We are not that club at the moment, and we're not going to be for a while. Let's just put that out there. We're not going to be the club that everyone thinks we are, this superior team that everyone's scared of. People come to Stamford Bridge now. They just take 3 points from us. It's not the fortress that it once was. You know, we talk like we've just won the league we haven't won the league since 2016, 2017. We haven't won it since Conte. That's the last time we challenged and won the Premier League. We haven't had a prolific goal scorer since that time, 2016 season. Diego Costa. We haven't had a goal scorer that can put 20 goals in the back of the net. That's the problem. This has been a constant thing that has been happening at this club. You think back to the time when we just about scraped into the top 4 last game of the season against Wolves. I think it was Mason Mount who scored. The season after, we just scraped in. Last game of the season, I think Cesar Spiriquita gets sent off. Aston Villa. We've been hovering around this dodgy area for so long. It's just been masked over by certain things. When we win the Champions League, when we win the Club World Cup, all the new signings that are coming in, it's always getting masked over. But this has been a problem for so many years. So many years. It's just now that we can't mask over it anymore. The cracks are showing. And they're showing big time as well. Now everyone's panicking. But if you've been watching Chelsea for so many years, even before the Abramovich years, you will know that this cycle could not last because we were constantly doing is sacking managers and rotating the same thing. And when you sack a manager, you have to press restart on the transfers, on everything else. That can only last for so long. You can't sustain that for another 20 years. So the 20-year run that we had was brilliant, but you can't sustain that for another 20 years, especially with a new owner, especially with everything that's going on at the club as well, off field. It's always going to be an impossible task to get all of these players that you've signed, do it well. It wasn't going to work. It was not going to work. Now, one of the excuses I keep hearing from Chelsea fans is injuries. We've got injuries. We have. You're right, we have. But let's look at the list. Let's look at the list of injuries. Now, maybe 2 out of, I think, 11 or 12 players would impact this team, in my opinion. I'm going to go through the list now. I'm going to pull the list up on the screen. As you can see, Chelsea injuries currently, we've got Christopher Nkunku with a knee injury. Now, Christopher Nkunku, 1,000,000% would change that team. We know that. We watched it in pre-season. He looked lively. He looks like someone that we need in that team. Amanda Broya, knee injury. We don't really know. I mean, we're talking about, I've just said then we need Amanda Broya to come back. Is he even the answer? We don't know. So I'm hoping he's the answer, but we don't know if we're being real. So one so far, Christopher Nkunku is the one player so far that we need back in that team. Reece James hasn't played a full season for how many years? We don't even know. Yeah, on his day is brilliant. But let's be honest as well, Malagusto is actually playing really well in terms of that. You watch it yesterday with the overlap. He was playing really well. It worked with Raheem Sterling. They got it right on the right. On the left, they got it wrong because of Colwell. Wesley Fofana, that is looking like an expensive medical bill, from being honest. Injury after injury, it's not looking like very likely that he's even going to play this season. So let's scratch that one off the list. Carney Chukwuemeka, yes, good player. Is he a game changer? Is he someone that we really need back in the team? Not really. Trevor Chalobah, thigh injury. Again, yes, we could probably play him ahead of Thiago Silva, but at the same time as well, he doesn't even look like he's got a foot in the door at the moment. Now, the other one I will say, yes, we probably do need him, is Benoit Badiashile. I do think we need him because he got benched, if you remember, for no real reason. He just got benched. And I think we really do need him back in the team. I think we can then drop Thiago Silva. And then we've got options in defence then. You know, you look at Cowell, you look at Deserzi, you look at Badiashile, you've got someone that you need to try and get a partnership with that isn't Thiago Silva, respectfully. So I think we do need Badiashile. Moises Caicedo, another player that I do think we need. But again, this is someone very similar to Romeo Lavia. These are two players that have just walked through the door. This isn't a new issue that we've got where we can't score goals and we're not playing well. We had this last season. So yes, we do need to see what they can do. Are they the answer why we're losing? Not at all, because we should be beating Bournemouth. Bettinelli, another one. Are we really saying Bettinelli's going to change the game for us? Is he really going to be better than Sanchez? Probably not. Noni Madueke, is he better than Sterling? Is he better than Mudryk? Is he a game changer? Is he going to get us 4 or 5 assists in the next couple of games? Is he going to score 2 goals? I don't think so. Mark Cucurella, another one. Not really. So when we're talking about injuries and we're talking about we've got all these injuries and we need all these players back, do we actually need them all? We should be beating the teams now with the team that we've got out. We should not be losing to Forest. We should not be drawing to Bournemouth. We can blame injuries, but at the same time as well, if you look on paper, that team yesterday should be 1,000,000% be beating Bournemouth. 1,000,000%. And we're lucky that we didn't lose the game. So I get it. I understand that we need certain players back in terms of squad depth and for the bench and all of those things. But if we're really saying that Carney Chukwuemeka and Noni Madueke and all of these sort of players are going to actually change the game and change how we play football, Christopher Nkunku, 1,000,000%. Moises Caicedo, 1,000,000%. Even Lavia to an extent, yes. But if we're really saying we need Bettinelli on the bench because we don't know about Sanchez, I think we're talking a bit of bullshit, really, aren't we? Let's be honest. We're just using that as an excuse. If we were top of the league, we wouldn't even be talking about the injuries. It's only because we're 14th that we have to bring up the injuries. So for me personally, we've just got to get our head out of our asses and realize where we are, what the situation is, and buckle in, because the transition that we're going to go through is going to be painful. It's going to be painful. We're going to lose a lot more games before we win some. This could be a repeat of last season, if not worse. So buckle yourselves in. Understand where you are where do you realistically think we should finish this season? Take the fact that you're in the Premier League and you could potentially still win it. Take that away. Take it out of your mind. Deject it. Quick. Get rid of it. We're not winning the Premier League. We're not winning anything this season. The next couple of seasons, realistically now, is about building that team for the future. It really is. Build the team for the future. Let's go on. Because at the moment, we're seeing boring football. We're seeing football that doesn't look like Chelsea. But this has been here for many seasons. And if you watch this podcast from the start, if you watched it from when we first done it in nearly 2 years ago now, you'll know that we've been speaking about how bad this team has been and there's no creativity and the goalkeeper situation and our defense options as well. Even our midfield, we spoke about all of that on this podcast before. This is not a new issue. 2016, 2017 is the last time we won the Premier League. That's 8 years ago. Nearly 8 years ago, without a prolific goal scorer in front of goal. But there's fans out there that want me to believe that we should be competing for the Premier League and we should be competing for the top 4. And we should be competing in Champions Leagues and Europa Leagues and whatever else. And we haven't even cemented ourselves a consistent run of competing for the Premier League in nearly 8 years. We haven't had a goal scorer for 8 years. I'm repeating myself because I wanted to sink into certain fans that do watch this channel. And I know we don't have the biggest following, but I want people to understand where we are as a club. Be realistic. Let me know what you think in the comments about where we should finish. What do we need to do to get rid of this bad cloud over the club in terms of the performances, in terms of the fans as well? Because it's very toxic all over the place at Chelsea at the moment. Let me know what you think about Bournemouth yesterday. Should we have won the game? We will be back with a podcast episode this week as well. Should hopefully be Friday, so make sure you tune in for that one. Until next time, thank you very much. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button as well. And we'll be back soon with another video.